Woo! My goodness. Boy, I got a little bit of a haircut, folks. I'm feeling dead sexy today. I hope you all are having a beautiful day wherever you're at in the world. Today we're talking about the one and only Dfinity Internet Computer. We're going to just hammer through it all. We've got some great stuff lined up, stuff that you need to know, especially when it comes to Internet Computer, the ecosystem, what's going on. There's going to be a great opportunity for you, and we'll cover the charts. So let's get right into this. We got the one and only, folks. I gotta back this thing up. The one and only Raging Cajun Dominic Williams. The winds of change, folks, are blowing for enterprise cybersecurity. Get hacked, you may be held responsible. You're damn right. I think that a lot of these companies should be held responsible. Every time all my information gets hacked from one of these systems, I don't want a year of some sort of, credit tracker. I want some compensation. But that never happens, does it? Like that like button if you've ever had your information or data compromised in one of those. But in 2024, ICP-based Utopia Networks will provide a way to build online systems and services that don't depend on fallible firewalls. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens here. And we got the one and only Janet Yellen, baby, with the one and only dirty old Gary Gensler, folks. Such a dirty little animal. And I've got some jokes about him just in just a second. It's going to get real wicked here. We got Sonic. They made a pretty decent announcement here that they are now on CoinGecko. I mean, I don't use Sonic a whole lot, but you know what? They're on CoinGecko. They're getting some exposure, things like that. It is what it is. So congratulations to them for getting on CoinGecko. Code and State, folks, they threw down a very nice Internet Computer community conference in, I think it was like Miami or Orlando or somewhere in Florida, I think like last March or something. And I was over in Thailand doing some other crypto related stuff, so I couldn't make it. But they are doing a recap tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Twitter, and they asked me to join them to be one of the speakers of this. So I'm very excited to just kind of sit back and just reflect on what exactly happened in 2023. Because guess what? It has been absolutely an insane ride for the Internet Computer, folks, in 2023. Absolutely insane. We saw some crazy stuff go down. And really, I guess the entire cryptoverse did as well. But, it's going to be a fun little segment. So we've got Gary Gensler here, folks. And this is going to be funny because he gets pwned here. I hope this man ends up in prison. You know what I'm saying? He might have I was going to make a really bad joke there, but I'm not going to. There's a lot of non-compliance in the crypto space. It undermines confidence when so many people have been hurt, folks, and all they can do is stand in line to the bankruptcy court. No! Oh my God. How much more cheesy can it get, folks? Further, this can make it hard for good ideas. This guy's in charge of overseeing Wall Street, folks. And guess what? There is so much fraud on Wall Street. Compare the amount of people on Wall Street that go to jail on a yearly basis, and then compare it to the crypto markets. Compare it all time. Compare it for the last 10 years. I guarantee you there's been, 20 people in the crypto space that went to jail for something stupid. I guarantee you there's a hell of a lot more bankers and all that stuff. But He got community noted. Crypto companies like Coinbase, a public company that the SEC oversaw the listing of, have been trying to gain clarity on SEC guidance for compliance for the past few years. The SEC hasn't taken a clear stance and has relied on regulation by enforcement. You're damn straight. You're damn straight. Gary Gensler, I hope he ends up in prison with those nice DSLs. Somebody would love him. Watch ICP, 5 a.m. Central Time, folks. That's right, tomorrow. Tomorrow. Let me tell you guys something. You are never going to see anybody on any other channel that has as raw of trading capabilities as I do. Now, this isn't financial or trading advice, but I do pretty well for myself. When we're talking about this tweet that I dropped, it's very important that you guys follow me at Real6Fig. And I'll drop little acorns like this. And I specifically dropped this as I was trading it. I picked up some ICP, about $8.60 somewhere here on this wick down. 4x leverage, rode this thing all the way up to about $9, cut bait, made a couple $100. All right, cool. But when I posted this picture, folks, and we're going to get into this in just a second, and you guys can see the difference here. When I posted it, it was right here. What I'm showing you is a falling wedge. Very bullish to see this. And what happened? The price reacted. So we got a very nice upward swing, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But let's just take a little wander through the dashboard verse of ICP. This thing's cranking away on the blocks, well over 2.5 billion blocks. I was there when this thing turned over 1 billion blocks, folks. Maybe even a half a million, or excuse me, a half a billion. But I sat down and I actually stayed up to record ICP crossing over 1 billion blocks. Maybe I'll put that on the next live stream and we can watch that, because it's come a long way, folks, and we're gonna see a lot of really cool stuff here in the near future with Dfinity and Internet Computer. Right now we are doing 229,000 equivalent ETH transactions, and the Internet Computer is humming along at about 6,000 transactions per second. So that's awesome, right? We are seeing the total canister state. This increased a point, but it's just over 4 terabytes. So with that said, this is a tebibyte, and it's very close to a terabyte. We've also got CKBTC. The supply is kind of remaining the same. ICP is being burned. We got internet identity, folks. Internet identities are just skyrocketing. This basically means that people are choosing to create internet identities and participate in like the NNS and stuff like that. So yeah, right now we've got just over 370,000 smart contracts running and operating on the Internet Computer. You can see what that looks like. Well, maybe you can't. I'll enlarge this here. You can just see how this thing has taken off here over the last year. It's pretty impressive, to say the least. There's just not a whole lot of stuff, folks, that's not impressive on the Internet Computer. Let's look at the ETH. ETH is under control. We got Internet Computer Blockchain controlling 468 Ethereum on Ethereum's native network. The whole markets are green, folks, and there's Santa hats on all of these good little tickers that are up on the day. I hope you've been a good boy or girl out there to have your crypto pump here for the holidays. But yeah, the market is insanely up right now. We got Bonk. Oh my goodness. This thing is up 8%. Where's the IC? IC has just kind of been bouncing the last couple hours from what I can see. And really, when it comes down to it, we're still kind of tangling in this rank of 23. We're still at about 4 billion. So this thing's up 3.5%. maybe 4% in the last 24 hours. So time for the charts, folks. And like I said before, before we get into these charts, I just want to just put this in your ear. And when it comes down to it, folks, try to learn something new as I'm doing the technical analysis on this stuff, folks, because
try
the
to
more
learn
stuff
something
that you
new
can absorb
as I'm
the more
doing
stuff that
the
you
technical
can
analysis
really on this stuff, folks, because
try
the
to
more
learn
stuff that
something
you
new
can absorb
as I'm doing
that
the
you-
technical
with that said, let's
analysis
dive
right into
okay?
on this stuff,
we
folks,
do
because
have
try
the
to
more
learn
stuff
something
that you
new
can absorb
as I'm
more
doing
stuff
the
that you-
technical
with that said,
analysis
let's dive
unfortunately,
on this stuff,
we
folks,
do
because
have
try
the
to
only
learn
about
something
you
new
absorb
as I'm doing the technical analysis
we're not going to see
right
some
into
crazy
on this stuff,
we
folks,
do
because
that.
try to
Only
learn
about
something
you
new
absorb
as I'm doing the technical analysis.
You could argue that this is
on this stuff, folks, because try to
very
learn
nice
something new as I'm doing the technical analysis.
You could argue that this is
on this stuff, folks, because
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you, guys. That should have fixed it. I apologize for that. Basically, what was happening was I opened up another window, and I think that solved the problem. Let me just go ahead here and make sure that this is solved, and I'm going to do so from my personal computer, cell phone. So here we go. Here we go. Okay. We're good. Thank you guys for the info on that negative loop. I see we dropped some people, but that's okay. You know what? I'm going to blame Gary Gensler for that one. But I was telling people in a tweet earlier as well. Remember what I said, folks? I said, watch 5 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow, Friday, 12/22. You need to figure out, okay, what you need to figure out what time frame that kind of is for you, wherever you're at in the world. I'm a little messed up right now trying to read like 10 things. So we've got that. And so my little prediction here was that we'd kind of bounce around up in this area and kind of start ripping. But we do have a Fibonacci time sequence that is on the books. And basically, we were able to measure this swing high to this swing low, predicted a reversal here, a stop or a reversal of volatility, increase of volatility. So I would have no reason to believe that on this date and time, we might have a little bit of a reversal happen or something like that. What I would love to see here, and this is kind of what I drew up. I'm just going to delete some of this. But what I would love to see is basically a little sideways trading momentum. And I would love to see something like this play out, where price action bounces between $9.31 and maybe does something like this. Get a nice little ascending triangle, something like that. But there could also possibly be some sort of inverse head and shoulders, and this is going to also play into this ascending triangle. Let's say price action drops down to like $8.85. I might set a buy order for like $8.83, $8.84. See if I can, catch the fall. Maybe $8.75 somewhere in there. Not financial trading advice at all, but that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to attempt to catch the falling knife, and hopefully we slingshot forward. But the inverse head and shoulders, folks, that I am referring to here, could possibly play out like this. So there is a little bit of a possibility that we could see something like this play out. And then you might ask yourself, well, what kind of prices are we going to see here in the future? Well, I don't want to say that's easy, but we might be able to get a general idea. And I'm just going to delete all this stuff because it looks like a big, giant mess. Like if Gary Gensler had hair, that's probably what it would look like. Just one big mess. So right now, I think that, and look at this, price came right up to this fib at 931. So I would love to see some Elliott wave theory impulses, folks, up to, maybe we're going to see something like this occur up to the 61.8. But I think that there's a chance in the near future we could retest this $10.59-ish level, possibly. I don't know when that could happen, but we can sit here and certainly speculate on that. There's also one big thing. I'm just going to go ahead here and clear the charts. We are going to just throw up the Gone fans to see where things are at. And I want you guys that are out there charting, try to pick up on some of this stuff. It'll make your trading lives so much easier if you can just use these videos as like a mentorship in many ways. This is free information, and you're talking to a very successful trader. But when we throw up the Gone fans, basically what I did was I found this low point here, and I'm just going to explain this. I know that I explain this almost every video, but there's new people here, and it's a good refresher. What I did was I marked the swing low here up to this swing high. And guess what, folks? The markets move in these 45-degree angles more than you guys know. I promise you this. So with that said, what we're going to do here is throw up not a pitch fan. We're going to throw up a Gone fan. And what we're going to do is place this fan right at the starting point. We're going to put the 1-to-1 right on this 45. And we're going to take this, drop this up here, another Gone fan, and we're going to drop this right here. Now, this is where things get interesting. Now you can delete these 45-degree angles. But if you set one of these things up, it's super easy to test to see if you did it the right way. Because what you got to look for is basically price action being supported, like right in here, and you got to see price action, resisting along key parts as well. So this, to me, it appears that these Gone fans are extremely relevant right now. You can see resistance here, support here, support here, and we're back up here on support. So I think that it would be reasonable to believe that if ICP really kind of takes off here, in the time being, maybe we get that inverse head and shoulders, something like this to occur. I think that we could really see this thing kind of set up for a little move. And, how this plays out is anyone's guess. But I'm hoping right now we can stay above this 2-to-1 line right here. And this would be nice because if we can get ICP to pump, like maybe up to this $9.80 level, I would be fine with this thing trading sideways into this pennant formation. So if we saw ICP work its way up, come into the squeeze here, and we'll move on to the next level, probably like the $7-ish level. And if we can break through that, we just keep climbing and climbing and climbing. I hate to get too far ahead of myself when we're doing TA like this, though. It's one of those things where we don't want to count the eggs before they hatch, or the chickens before they hatch, with this. So we got 45 strong. Let me know in the comments section, do you guys have any other DGen projects that you guys are trading or looking at let's take an opportunity to absolutely pollute the chat with those tickers, and we'll just look over Bitcoin here for the moment, and then we'll see what's going on in the chat. So we've got Rock Acid. Good morning from Singapore. That is a place that I want to visit someday. Let's see. What major partnership would 5FIGS like for ICP that Dominic Williams will announce in 2024? 5FIGS. I don't know. Been a long time since I've been 5FIGS. But Bitcoin's interesting right now, guys. This is very interesting to me. This is right now what I'm seeing is kind of bearish. Right now we're looking at the 1 hour chart, but what I am seeing is what is called a rising wedge. Rising wedges are bearish. Good thing for Bitcoin, and this is a 1 hour chart, so keep this in mind, is that this is a very small time frame. So we're looking at basically like a 4-day pattern. So with that said, let's just kind of look at the 4 hour chart. Okay, you know what? This is interesting here because right now I'm almost seeing some harmonic behavior here, and we really need to test this to see what is going on. We're going to throw this into logarithmic mode. All right, there we go. So with that said, this harmonic behavior, we could be gearing up to see some bad behavior by Bitcoin, folks. Let's go ahead here and throw up what's called an XAB CD pattern. So this is basically a harmonic pattern. And this could be bearish. So it can be bullish, okay? When you call it, some people will call this like the bullish Gartley. Some people will call it the bullish butterfly, right? But basically, it's kind of a method used to catch a falling knife at the end of the day. And what we need to do is use Fibonacci to determine whether or not, okay, so I can tell you right now that this is technically not a, I mean, depending on where you go. I'm just depending on where to put X here. Trying to think. I'm almost thinking maybe right here. We'll err on the side of caution here in case Bitcoin starts tanking because we got a rising wedge on the charts. So good news is this is a small pattern. Usually they yield small results. But with that said, what I would be looking for right here is for price action to come right down to the 61.8, but not go any further than the 786. Price action has wicked in to the 61.8 territory. So we can see that it has double tapped it. Now, the next thing that I'd be looking for, and I can clearly tell you that this is still within parameters, is that I would be looking for price action basically to come up and basically not go any higher than A, but it would need to breach the 61.8, which price has clearly done. And so now that we've established this, folks, there is something that we need to do. We need to draw up a Fibonacci retracement from B up to A. And now I'd be looking for this thing to wander on down to maybe 39,000 or 38,000, which isn't too bad. Now, I know that there is a lot hinging on the markets right now, folks. I mean, all these spot ETFs and all sorts of other garbage happening. And even though I just drew out that very bearish scenario, this is kind of one of these things where there is a mix of bullish and bearish things. This is, as far as I'm concerned, a textbook start of a bull flag. Textbook. It's not complete in my opinion. But on the other hand, we're seeing that rising wedge, folks. there is something else that kind of concerns me about Bitcoin right now. 1, 2, 3. We got triple tops. Triple tops are bearish. When you see triple bottoms, that's bullish usually. Usually price has found a floor. But when you start to see this resistance level, it's right at 44,500-ish. So that's interesting to say the least. There's so much going. I think the market is just hurrying up and waiting. And just wait, folks. When you think that there wasn't anything else that I couldn't tell you about this, is that there could possibly be some really kick-ass pattern that is forming. Like I said, we're seeing the best of both worlds in the bear and the bullish market here. This thing is preparing to move either way. And really, we're seeing these lows get higher. And we could almost argue that there could be a launch pad here. There could be some sort of ascending triangle that could possibly be forming, and we might just see Bitcoin cup and handle this thing and rip off. So, I mean, it is what it is. There could be a cup and handle that happens. So if you see Bitcoin trading below, I'll just say 41.5, know that this ascending triangle cup and handle is probably cooked. But now we're going to take a look at the charts and see what kind of degeneracy y'all are about to get me into. I know I'm probably going to regret this. What do we got here? We've got Jasmy. This is the time to pollute the charts. Jasmy baby. Okay, so Jasmy. All right, we're going to look at this one right here. Okay, Jasmy. I know a guy named Bitcoin Renegade who is heavy into Jasmy at once. So, with that said, I'm just kind of looking at things like on the daily, the weekly. So far, this thing is on its voyage through the cloud on the weekly, so best wishes. Now, really, when it comes to Jasmy, I would be concerned if Jasmy dropped below this 0.005548-ish level over the coming weeks. I should say at any time prior to or after March 11th. We'll just call it March 11th. But there's some interesting stuff going on here. Let's just look at the daily chart. When it comes down to this, we've got, God dang, you could have almost made the argument that there could have been some sort of cup and handle there. But, when people ask me to sit down and do analysis on, projects and coins, even though I might like Jasmy, you might like Jasmy, one thing that you're always going to get from me is that, I will always tell you the truth on as far as my opinion is concerned. So there could possibly be some sort of rising wedge that is happening. We're seeing this on the 8-hour. You can kind of see it on the daily. This thing's been pumping nonstop. And I do think, though, that even if this thing corrected a little bit, it might go sideways. And I say that because what we are seeing is some Elliott wave theory, in my opinion here. And this could almost be textbook Elliott wave theory. I mean, with the exception of this little sideways momentum, you can also see an ABCD or ABCDE corrective wave. That might play out. So, maybe we'll see this thing come and tap the 50 moving average. But let's just throw up a little fib here to see where this thing might land to the downside. You're going to want to be on the lookout for strongholds. 0.005783, 0.005242. But I do think that right now you might see a little bit of a give. Let's just look at this 4-hour chart. I mean, and here's another thing with this is that if we do see this thing break down a little bit, I just want you guys to be mindful that there is a possibility of a head and shoulders pattern here. Okay, so watch out. If you see this thing trading below 0.0056 ish, just know that there could be a head and shoulders pattern in play. Let's see what we got. Cody. Oh, have I looked at the gold Dow? Terry Ace said, and the gold Dow, folks, is on the NNS, and we'll get into Cody here next. So feel free and pollute the chat, folks. This is your opportunity to get some of your projects looked at by the one and only. So here's Gold Dow, and basically they have met their minimum requirements. So they've had 401,000 ICP, and basically this is going to become like a gold pegged gold stable coin. A gold-pegged stable coin. I'm bullish on this. I threw in 100 of my own ICP into this. So, full disclosure, I am invested in this. 100 ICP, which is worth what now? $1,000, something like that. Well, what's the price of ICP? Someone in the chat. I guess I could look at the charts, but whatever. ICP is $9.17. So yeah, I'm $917 or $917 worth of ICP deep into this puppy. So yeah, I like the idea of having a stable coin that's pegged to gold. I think that this is very interesting because as gold increases, your stable possibly will increase as well. So during the bear market, let's say you move everything into a stable gold coin, folks. There you have it. There you have it. And let's say gold increases in price during the next bear market. Let's say that this next bull market happens. You take your profits. Of course, there's risk in everything. But let's say that gold, this USDG, the US dollar gold, which is a USD pegged stable coin backed by gold. So my assumption would be that as the price of gold increases, we'll see this increase as well. Maybe I should talk to them about that. But I'm down for it. I love it. We've got Crypto Airborne in the chat, so thanks for dropping by, Crypto Airborne, and everyone else too. I just want to double down on this. If you guys could just help me out, I need your help more than more than I could ever ask for. If you guys find these live streams helpful, if you guys could just smash that like button. I know it's kind of a hassle, but if you could just do it even on your way out, I would sincerely appreciate it. It helps the channel grow. It helps everything. Videos hit the algo, all that stuff. My motivation. How deep are we in this thing now? 41 minutes. Oh my goodness. I gotta throw a pizza in here pretty quick. So we got Cody. All right. So it's been a while since I've looked at a Cody chart. But let's just check this out on the daily. As you guys can see, it looks like a wreck right there. Okay, interesting. On the weekly, we are just starting to get a trace of the 200 weekly average. So this, folks, is actually one thing that I love to see, and one thing that drives me nuts on coins that are only a couple years old is I don't have my 200 moving average on the weekly. So this thing has been absolutely ripping. It's targeting a very thin part of this Ichimoku cloud on the daily or on the weekly, and this thing almost appears that this could be in some sort of step in the same fashion as like Elliott wave theory. we're going to look at this thing at a super high level here, but it almost appears that there could have been some sort of falling wedge that happened here. We'll just look at this. So this is Cody, the Cody chart. So you guys can see that this was a mega year-long pattern that played out. So I'm expecting to see Cody make a big move after seeing a big pattern like this. Excuse me. And I think that we could really see this thing come up and try 14 cents. I think a 2x here. Again, folks, this is not financial or trading advice. We've got to do a lot more TA on this. Getting back to Elliott wave theory that I was just talking about on this weekly chart. Remember when I said, I think there's some Elliott wave theory here? Well, guess what? I've got an eagle eye for spotting this stuff. Not a lot of people do. A lot of people rely on all these funny paid indicators, and that only gets you so far in the grand scheme of trying to chart read, folks. That's like a cheat code. You're relying on a code every single time. Human emotion and human knowledge and human experience, in my opinion, good experience will trump any of those paid indicators and all that garbage. So what we could have here, and there's always something that I'm on the lookout, especially once we see wave 2 to 3. Anybody in the chat know? I'll give you 2 ICP. I'll give you 5 ICP if anyone in the chat can tell me what I'm looking for after wave 3. What am I looking for? You won't find it in the book. You won't find it on Google. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ding! All right, so I am looking for, no, not the ABC correction. Not a spike. No, y'all are late. I'd be looking for the ABC correction after wave 5. And then I'd be looking for a DE correction after that. Possibly into a falling wedge or something like that. But whenever we start to hover around 0.3, folks, you have to understand that this could be an opportunity for a dirty old head and shoulders pattern to happen. So if we see price action come down and really dip below like this left shoulder, so let's say like we see this price action come down and it dips below like this left shoulder here, keep in mind that the next move up would probably target this 50 moving average and it would strip you of all your crypto. So this is something to be on the lookout for. If you see Cody dragging its heels down to 5.5 cents or lower, no, that is something. ABCD up. Okay, we've got some people going absolutely crazy in the chats here. So right now, I'd be looking for this puppy to really rip up to maybe this 227 at 7-8 cents, somewhere in that neck of the woods before we went into some sort of ABC corrective wave like rock acid and a few others mentioned in the comments. So we don't have any more tickers. We got rock acid. Let's see what his thesis is here. My thesis by January 10th, folks. 2024 ETFs out of, let me read this here. I'm reading this on my phone, so excuse me. By January 10th, 2024 ETFs out approval 1 month to list on exchange. So from January 10th to February 10th, retailers will pump BTC to the moon. When spot ETF listing on exchange, whales will crash it. You know, that's a great, that is a great theory. on what could happen. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. We got one more. We're going to look at Metis Dow for Mohammed here. And then we'll see. Maybe if anybody else's drops anything, we'll take a look at it. Metis Dow. All right. So they're on Coinbase. That's good. This puppy is trading at a solid $14.93. Looks like to me that this puppy could... Man, this thing's been ripping. We're gonna throw up a Gon fan here on this because I'm interested, and I guarantee you, folks, I need to pull up my charts here so you guys can see we're at Metis. It's on Coinbase. This is a 45-degree angle. Remember how I tell you guys all the time that these markets, in a lot of cases, once you start to see a price bottom and then price rip off, they move at a 45-degree angle. Not all the time, but it's a very, very, very common occurrence, folks. This is stuff you don't learn in school. This is stuff that you need to learn on your own. And especially for those of you out there that are just really starting off a trading career, I can tell you, I've been trading for the better part of a decade and a half. Well, yeah, probably about 16 years at a super high level. I've had mentors that were millionaire oil traders, and I have had a very unique opportunity to learn the rules of the game, and it takes a long time. We'll do XLM here. I'm bullish on XLM, by the way. I like the project. But we'll get Metis out of the way here. So this Gon fan here is absolutely banging, and it's absolutely spot on. Thank you, Rock Acid, for that super chat. I truly appreciate it. More than you guys know. Not necessary, but it helps pay the bills, right? So right now on the daily, you can see how Metis has been trying to bust this 1-to-1 fan line here since October, and it's finally gone through it. And there is this really crazy cool thing that I'm seeing right out of the gates with this. And I get really super bullish about this type of thing. You know, technically, here's something that you want to see happen. Again, this is not financial or trading advice, but I am just kind of looking at if you would have asked me about this project, you know, maybe like, you know, a couple days ago, I would have been warning people about a falling wedge, or a rising wedge, excuse me, but it looks like this thing has broken through a rising wedge. So that makes me really bullish on this coin right now. And when we see this thing right now, you can see this is, I was going to say, it almost looks like a ascending triangle, but we got this little nasty thing that happened here. But you can see how this thing just started ripping off. And really what we have here is a very nice bull flagpole. And we are starting to see a development of a symmetrical triangle squeeze against this trend line here. So I hope that we will see Metis break through that. If it does, look out. Look out $35-ish area. If this thing breaks down, expect maybe a $29 area. So, yeah. One thing I hate about Coinbase, folks, is I get all messed up. Coinbase, on every single chart, they've got all sorts of messed up stuff. So, yeah, I'm bullish on this, for right now. We'll just have to kind of play the waiting game because this thing just pumped to the heavens. I just want to check out where the RSI is on this thing. Okay, yeah, so this thing, the price action on the daily chart is too far away. It's just too far away. You know, when I see this like price action here, I just have an understanding that, my opinion is that this is too far away. So we might see this thing dip down a little bit and try this 3-to-1 downward angle. But I would expect this thing to maybe come down to the $27-ish level if we don't see this thing break out. But, it could just trade sideways as well. See, when price action gets too far from the cloud, it just prohibits price action from going up. So what happens is price either drives back towards like the 50 moving average or the 200 moving average or the cloud, or it just kind of trades sideways. And it looks like in previous instances, this thing has just been kind of trading sideways every time it hits a plateau. So you might see this thing trade sideways for a week or two. I hope it goes to the moon for you. And we're going to look at XLM here as well. Let's see. Yeah. I'm looking at some of these comments here. Right. XLM. I like XLM, folks. Even during the last bull market, like back in 2020, 2021, I was like banging the drum on XLM, and then they just took off. I mean, you guys can see November 2021, like this thing went on a tear. And I discussed XLM in one of my latest live streams or videos, and it might have been a week or two ago. I'm not sure if it was prior. Yeah. Well, anyways, you can see that I have some leftover TA up on the screen for XLM. And the one thing, and this is something that you guys can learn here, and here's another learning experience, is that whenever you see, and here's the other thing, a lot of my technical analysis on this stuff is at an extremely high level. It just is. I look at the charts. I don't even need to draw anything out. I can see patterns and stuff like that. I'm insane when it comes to reading these charts. But within the last couple years, I noticed that there was something that was happening. And when we start thinking of Fibonacci and all the great tools that we use around Fibonacci, we've got Fibonacci extensions, Fibonacci time sequence, Fibonacci retracements. We got Fibonacci channels, and that's what you're seeing here. But I developed the term called a Fibonacci sliver by default, and this is an extremely super bullish thing that we could ever ask for. And as long as the market's healthy, it's usually a pretty solid move. Right here, we can see that XLM for some time has been really trying to break above this 13.5 cent level. Man, ever since it fell back through it back in August of 2023. So this thing's kind of been stuck under this range now for the last, I don't know, the last few months, 5-6 months. You could also make the argument here. In a lot of times you will see cup and handles, inverse head and shoulders, all that stuff kind of bleed together into one. And when it comes down to this, I'm seeing an inverse head and shoulders. That is occurring. But notice how even though we've got a solid inverse head and shoulders on this chart, nothing has absolutely executed yet. People might be scratching their heads. 6 figs. How could this be? But the term that I devised, this Fibonacci sliver, and here's how it works, is that once we see price action stall on a plane like this or a channel like this, what we see is a strong support level along this bottom 0 line. And what we're seeing here is a strong resistance level. And so by default, what's going to happen here is that we are going to see a massive ascending triangle form. And this kind of looks like a sliver. But the beautiful thing about the sliver is we can kind of time this. And what's nice about this is that price action can only move to the east so far before it's forced to make a decision to head upwards. So XLM, you know, this is a good play. I might have to start looking back into this one. The 6 Fibonacci line, I love that. I've never heard that. Good call, El Chingian. The 6 Fibonacci line. I got to be really careful saying that. But yeah, the 6 Fibonacci line. I like that. I'll refer to it as that, and I'll refer to it as the Fibonacci sliver. But you know, I may go long on this. I might do a futures trade on this and just rip this thing up to about 13. You might be able to make like an 8% trade on this in the next few days. But guys, we are going to wrap it up. Let me know in the comments section. Okay, wait. We're not going to wrap this up just yet. Okay. Where can I get that 6 Fibonacci indicator? Well, you can only get it here. You guys got to come back. Just hit that subscribe button. You guys got to come back. Hit that like button. And then I will give that to you. That's my gift. But what's my option or opinion of Algorand and C? I don't know anything about C. You know what? I like Algorand. It's going to sound crazy, but in my phone, I've got a gentleman's phone number. His name is Christian Egger Hansen, and he's big into Algorand. You know, I've talked to him a little bit about that, and I connected with him several years ago. But he's bullish on it. And Algorand, we suppose I got to pull up the charts. You know, I don't have anything invested in Algo, but, you know, a lot of people are bullish on that. You know, and that's great. I want to say that we had some classic Elliott wave theory to the upside. Let's just test this out while we're at it. And here we go. Now, you might be thinking, okay, span 2 to 3 is cutting it real close. By default, folks, span 2 to 3 can never be the shortest wave in Elliott wave theory. So by default, it has to be longer than span 0 to 1. So the easiest way to test this is to draw up a trend line like that. And you can see this wick is well high. You know, it's much more higher. This is absolute classic Elliott wave theory to the upside. If you guys can start really kind of hammering in all this stuff, folks, you're going to do well trading. Just by stopping into these live streams for, you know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, if you're doing the dishes or something. But I do think that there is possibly a check that needs to happen here on the price, because this thing has increased from 9, or excuse me. See, man, Binance has all this stuff all messed up now. Okay, so this thing went from 9 cents. Okay, this thing ran from 9 cents all the way up to 23 cents in the last couple months. So it hasn't really had much bearish downside. And so with that said, I do think that there might be some room for a little retracement action here. I'm not saying that this thing's necessarily going to collapse or anything, but I do feel like this thing, at least on the daily chart, is going to come and play tag with this 50 moving average at least. And let's just throw up one thing to see if we can find out when. Okay. We need to figure this out, folks. Okay, there's some wicked shit going on in the Algorand charts. Okay, I am trying to figure out a time and day that you could possibly watch for a reversal for algo. So bear with me 1 second. This thing has done a damn good job at predicting increased volatility and reversals down to within a few days. So for all of you guys that are bullish on algo, what I want you to do is in your phones, go to Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, and put in Fibonacci time sequence, set an alarm, and put Fibonacci time sequence Algorand, 6 figs. And come back to this channel, drop this information in the comments on the next live stream, and we'll check it out. But yeah, right now I do think that we're going to see this puppy trade sideways. And guys, when is my next live stream? Well, I'm thinking I'll do one tomorrow if I can possibly do one. I might go to the lake house this weekend. Well, maybe I'll just head up there on Monday. Maybe I'll head up there on Sunday. I don't know. Next one's going to be tomorrow. We're also going to be doing a very cool Twitter Spaces with Code and State. I'll be a guest speaker tomorrow, 9 a.m. And then that is going to be awesome. Yeah, guys. Let me just show you guys. Yeah, so I'll be speaking tomorrow. I'll do a live stream, probably either 11 a.m. Central or like 4 p.m. East Central as well. So, yeah, with that said, folks, we are going to wrap this puppy up. I love you all, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming. If you guys could do me a favor on the way out, as you're minimizing this, please just smash that like button. I'll leave the stream up for like 3 seconds. Peace. Okay, now my shit's not working. Again. Bye.